All right, welcome back to the show. Cowboy head coach Matt Viator has joined us. Our annual preseason visit as you get ready. Of course, you know, Monday, week of game is very difficult, very hectic. Of course, you're going to open up at Middle Tennessee State in Murfreesboro on a Thursday night. ESPN 3, I think, 2 or 3 or something. One of the ESPNs is going to have coverage of the game. That's what I'm told by Matthew Bonnet, the new sports information director at McNeese. Let's get back on the story that kind of circulated, really, that had Lake Charles, this region, the state, and parts even the country just fascinated
it's
with the Honey.
To me, what a national story that became.
And rightfully so, with the kind of reputation and the kind of season Turan Matthew had at LSU last year in their 13-0 regular season run, BCS championship game, that whole thing. He comes to Lake Charles the Friday evening after he is dismissed, kicked off from the team within hours. I guess you can talk about it now. Good visit, good young guy, respectful to you. And
well, I got y'all appreciate this story. It's going to be fast, but he's talking about making national news and stuff. Willie Wood, who grew up here in Lake Charles, who I used to caddy for and stuff. He won the senior tournament last night.
Yeah.
Okay, so man, I'm excited. I go home and I text him when I find out he won and congratulate him. He texts me back and says, "Thanks, Matt. Are you getting a Honey Badger?" I'm like, I mean, he just won a tournament in New York, you know what I mean? So
wait a minute now. You caddied for him?
That is. Yeah, I did when we were younger. Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, great guy. But no, I tell you, I was, Tyron was very humble, very, very polite. Obviously distraught. I think scared. I think it's another word, but I really enjoyed the visit. And I don't know, I laugh, people, this and that. I mean, I think the perception that, how he is or whatever. I mean, just based off the 2-3 hour conversation we had, he was a very humble young man. I mean, very, very polite. And, but no, we had a good conversation and, I don't know, everything happened kind of fast.
It did.
Really, I was on the practice field and didn't know he was coming.
And that's late in the afternoon.
Well, I mean, I know that, and then later, I find out, KPLC was upset with me, because they questioned me on the field if he was here because somebody from LSU, one of the former players, had tweeted it or something. Well, I didn't know. We were practicing.
Right.
And I said, I don't know what you're talking about, that he's coming here. I didn't. I had no clue.
Right.
When I got in and checked my phone, and I had a message that he was on his way. And when I looked at the message, it was about 2 hours and 20 minutes from the time he left the message.
Right.
So, wow. I mean, maybe he is. And, I didn't take a shower or anything. I walked out in the hall, and here he comes, So, everything kind of happened kind of fast.
Yeah.
So you don't have to give us the intimate details, but what kind of stuff did y'all talk about for 3 hours?
We just really talked about
situation like that.
We talked about him and LSU and what he wanted, and just kind of talked about McNeese and if he thought this would be a good fit for him. And I said his dad, uncle, whatever, his guardian was there, and his brother was there, and we talked, and like I said, I mean, it was a good conversation, but obviously I could tell that he didn't know what he wanted to do. And it comes a time really where I suggested to Tyron, you need to go home. I mean, you really do. And before I'm coming here, I'm going there, I'm going to do this. Go home. Go home and lean on faith, lean on family, lean on friends, shut out everybody else, and decide what you want to do. And then I think because I mean, you guys know, y'all been around the game a long time. I mean, you can be a great player, but even at his level at McNeese, we need him all in. I mean, you need somebody to come that's going to be all in to what you're doing. And if, until you can commit to that, which, I mean, he wasn't ready at the time. At least I didn't think he was. But, but anyway, that's kind of where that ended. And, but, I'd have definitely took him. Because, I mean, I liked him. I really did.
But you never heard, that was the only contact you had?
Pretty much, it's only direct contact.
Because it sounds like, it was just, well, the next Monday he actually went to Houston. So,
Coach,
I understood he flew, so he didn't even drive through Lake Charles.
You've been around a lot of players and you've coached a lot of players and stuff, and there's great players that have gone on that have said how well a coach you were and how you treated them. As a coach, what's your policy on kids that that may get into trouble, but knowing a kid is different from what the public can sometimes see as them being a person? Do you sometimes feel that kids that do go down the wrong path should be given a second chance based on the circumstances after what they presented to themselves?
Oh, I do, yes. I mean, and I think each situation has to be dealt with differently. because I think each situation has different circumstances. But
Right.
I've always, I don't get a second chance, and y'all don't either, but
Right.
kids do.
Right.
And it's part of the,
And you're
that's
right.
part of the
And you're
process,
right.
and sometimes, but I also have to look at, at what we're doing in our program too,
Right.
so you kind of have to balance that. But I think in the situation of Tyron, and I'm not going to name names, but I was really surprised, I guess initially, because I didn't know him, I got a whole bunch of phone calls, obviously,
I
on
can
Friday.
imagine.
And I basically returned 5 or 6, but they were people that knew him that I really respected. And those are the ones I actually returned.
Yeah.
And that to me, if you don't know Tyron
Exactly. Coach.
and I don't know you, then why are you calling?
Why are you even
You know, I
calling?
mean, so basically, the ones I returned are the ones that I knew
Yeah.
him, yet I really respected those people, and I just couldn't believe what they were saying about him. Obviously, not taking up for what he did.
Yeah.
He made a
I know
mistake,
exactly what you're
but
saying,
they
Coach.
really liked him. Good teammate, good person to coach, good person in
Yeah.
the locker room, those types of things, So I guess to answer your question, Kevin, all you can do is just trust people,
Yeah.
because anybody can,
I agree.
talk sweet for an hour or two and tell
Yeah.
you all the things you want to hear. But
Exactly.
I think all I try to do is just try to find people that know him and as a person and stuff. And I was satisfied with some of the things that people were saying.
Well, it turns out McNeese is the only school he visited, and he visited within hours, basically, of when the announcement came anyway, that he'd been kicked off the LSU team. I mean, he has no ties to this area or anything, growing up in the New Orleans area. Did you get a sense, what directed him here? What was the attraction here to come check out here first?
I think based off of what I think basically the people that he trusted told him, if you're going to go FCS, you need to go
right.
McNeese.
And you're right, Coach.
So
And
I
you're
think
right.
he, at the time, I think that's what he was told. You need to go FCS. You need to make a call. You need to get going. If you're going to go to McNeese, their school starts next week. You need to, start moving ahead. And like I said, I think that was the advice he got. I just don't think
Yeah.
he was ready to make that decision.
Yeah.
All
It
right.
wouldn't be surprised me
You're correct, Coach.
if Miles might have had something to do with it too, because I know Miles has a lot of respect for your program, but when y'all played him a couple of years
Well, and
ago,
Tyron, we talked about our game
Yeah.
with them, and
Yeah.
he did tell me that. He said, Coach, you guys played hard. I mean, y'all
Yeah.
came
Yeah.
in and, and I like the way y'all played. I like the way your kids, the other guys played. And,
Yeah.
so that may have helped some too. But
Yeah.
because we talked a little bit about the game too, and
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So the Honey Badger chapter for McNeese State ends. The book is closed. Now you got to think about 2012. You open with Middle Tennessee State. You've got a flight out to Southern Utah to take on Southern Utah again. Weber State.
Weber
State.
Give us a sense of that non-conference, and then quickly transition into the conference this year.
Well, we actually start conference the 4th game. So we play this year. The schedule is kind of more like
Yeah.
normal schedules. We
Yeah.
actually play 5 games and have a open week, but we play 2 conference games before the open week, Southeastern and Northwestern. So, yeah, I mean, I think middle is going to be a challenge. Obviously, the next week McMurray comes in. Hal Mummy's the head coach. I'm sure he'll throw it 80 times. Joe Lee Dunn's the defensive coordinator. I'm sure they'll blitz 80 times, and so that ought to be interesting.
Yeah.
And then we have to go to Weber State, which, last year wasn't a great year for them or us, but traditionally they're a good Big Sky team. They went through the John L. Smith situation.
Yeah.
and
What happened there? Who is the head coach
the
now?
guy that he bought is the defensive coordinator
They
that I
just
really know
elevated
nothing about.
him? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sam Houston, preseason number 1. They
Sure.
deserve it. Number 1 in
absolutely.
the Southland Conference. Look what they have last year. A lot coming back.
Yeah.
I don't know, 18 starters, number 1 running back, number 1 defense in the country in FCS, that whole thing. But the Southland always can be open depending on an injury here or there and momentum and confidence and everything up. You think you got to run at this thing, don't you?
Well, I mean, you never know, but I think that Sam had a great year last year. Did a fantastic job. Got better as the year went on. Stayed really healthy.
Yeah.
Had a really good schedule. Everything kind of played. So I mean, who knows? But yeah, they're definitely the team to beat.
Yeah.
They just have some really good players.
Yeah.
That the Flanders kid has been incredible. There's a transfer that paid off pretty good for them. But he's been really good, and I like Stephen F. this year. Central. I don't. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, but you're right. At the probably a little bit more at the FCS level, I think, than the FBS level. Injuries really get you.
Yeah.
It's not like maybe you got a another 5-star recruit
Yeah.
waiting to get in behind.
Yeah.
You know, you lose the wrong people, and it hurts.
Yeah. All right, Matt. We're going to leave it there. Promise, during that open week, we need you back. Get a sense
Sure.
of where you are
Yeah, we'll get him back.
going into the second half of the season. Cowboy head football coach Matt Viator. The first game, September 8th, is the home opener against McMurray. They go on the road to Murfreesboro, Tennessee, Middle Tennessee State. That would be not this Thursday, but the following Thursday, August 30th.
Yes.
Continued good luck with
Thanks,
the
guys.
camp and all the players, keeping them healthy. We'll take a short pause and wrap it up when we come back to Jack Daniels. Stay right here.